On this episode of New Mexico Frontiers, reducing the carbon footprint of sun care. That's the mission of one Santa Fe startup looking to revolutionize the sunscreen industry. Plus, find out how a near-Earth asteroid could completely revolutionize the way we think about physics. And we're learning how telemedicine is providing a vital path to better perinatal care for families living in rural parts of the state. New Mexico Frontiers starts right now.
This is New Mexico Frontiers. Presented by Veris Research.
Hello and welcome to New Mexico Frontiers. I'm Chad Brummett. The New Mexico Heart Institute has participated in a number of clinical studies over the years to bring better heart health to the state. And their latest trial could be a game changer for those suffering from mild heart failure, all the way up to patients with a pacemaker. Despite a decrease in deaths over the past few years, heart disease continues to be one of the two leading causes of death for New Mexicans. In 2021, the Department of Health reported just over 146 deaths per 100,000 people, which was lower than the national average. However, cardiovascular disease can look quite different from one person to the other.
Heart failure is where the heart can't pump enough blood to meet the needs of the body. And people have symptoms from that go from just some mild shortness of breath with exercise all the way up to shock. And most of the people are existing in that spectrum of symptoms.
It's within that spectrum of symptoms that Dr. Mark Benares and his team at the New Mexico Heart Institute are participating in a clinical study. A study that's focused on this device, which could help patients live longer, healthier lives. The CoreCinch HF study is a multi-year clinical trial for the AccuCinch, a product whose manufacturer says reduces the size of the heart's left ventricle, which means greater symptom relief for those suffering from heart failure and potentially a longer life.
There definitely is a clinical need that's met by this, and a clinical question then that can be asked and answered with the trial. So that makes this very appealing to us.
Essentially, this small device is attached to the inside of the left ventricular wall. Then it's cinched. A contracted left ventricle then can reduce the size of the heart's main pumping chamber, reduce stress on the organ, and potentially improve its strength.
The hope, and what we've seen in cases, is that the whole heart muscle, the scarring that goes on with heart failure, as the muscle fails, it then gets replaced with healthy tissue that's going to function better and be able to squeeze better.
Dr. Benares says the AccuCinch isn't for everyone, however. The wall of a candidate's left ventricle must be at least 5 millimeters thick in order to successfully anchor the device. Additionally, patients who previously suffered heart attacks may have too much scarring to be a successful candidate. Otherwise, the ideal patient pool is quite large.
A person would be having limitations to what they can do. They can't do their activities of daily living. They're brushing their teeth, showering, making the bed without feeling short of breath.
The Heart Institute successfully implanted the AccuCinch into New Mexico's first patient in February. And according to the Albuquerque Journal, the procedure went perfectly.
He had an immediate response of no shortness of breath, and he was having some chest pain afterwards, but then he had no shortness of breath, and he has maintained that he's had no shortness of breath since the device was implanted. About a week after he was discharged, he was able to walk 2 miles, which he hadn't done for years.
Dr. Benares says that the clinical trial is about halfway through. With 200 participants on the study worldwide, he says that if all goes well and the AccuCinch receives FDA approval, it could be on the market for patients within 6 to 8 years.
And we have a very small hospital, and we can make care very predictable here for people by aiming for the best care possible. And so that makes this an ideal place for research to happen.
Now, according to the Institute, they are still accepting candidates for the study, and they encourage anyone interested in participating to contact them for details. Well, coming up after the break, we are talking with a physicist from Los Alamos National Labs about their research into a near-Earth asteroid and how it could change our understanding of the universe. And later, a New Mexico startup is hoping to revolutionize the sunscreen industry and reduce the product's carbon footprint. New Mexico Frontiers will be right back.
Veris Research is the title sponsor of New Mexico Frontiers.
Veris Research, where advanced technologies, cutting-edge scientific research, and intelligent innovation meet to create solutions that matter. Online at verisresearch.net.
Seeing the invisible, that is what a small group of scientists at Los Alamos National Labs are trying to do with data recovered from a near-Earth asteroid. And while it sounds like a daunting, if not impossible task, it's not the first time astronomers have used the theory of dark matter to make celestial discoveries. 19th century astronomers were puzzled by the orbit of the planet Uranus. Mathematical calculations indicated that something was pulling on its orbital path, something massive. Then, on the night of September 23, 1846, astronomer Johann Gottfried Galle observed what would be the 8th planet in our solar system, Neptune.
When we look at the trajectory of Uranus, and we found out that the Uranus motion has some irregularity, different from the prediction.
Astronomers successfully predicted where Neptune would be in the sky based on mathematical calculations, which opened a greater understanding of our place in the universe.
And that same method of discovery is being used now in the 21st century, but this time searching for something that's impossible to see.
So the interesting thing about dark matter is that we know that it should have gravitational effect. We know roughly how it's distributed, but we don't know any of the detailed particle property or any of the detailed wave-like property that dark matter should have.
For more than a century, scientists and astronomers have theorized that there is an invisible form of matter tying the universe together. Now, scientists like Udai Tsai at Los Alamos National Labs are employing near-Earth objects like the asteroid Bennu to search for this elusive particle.
We're actually trying to see, first, if there is any force that is beyond our current understanding, and also we can use that to also study the dark matter distribution in the solar system.
The 2023 NASA OSIRIS-REx mission collected samples of dust and rock from the asteroid, and Tsai says that the samples could help fundamentally change our understanding of the standard model of physics, adding a fifth element. No, not that fifth element. To the quartet of known forces, including gravity, electromagnetism, weak nuclear, and strong nuclear force.
If you can prove certain theory and discover a class of new particle or new forces, that will open up new window to our further understanding of how nature works. But currently we haven't fully understand dark matter, and we haven't found the fifth force, so it's worth continue figuring out.
Tsai says that Bennu is just the beginning. In 2029, the asteroid Apophis will make a close approach to the Earth. Now, while original observations showed that it had a small chance of hitting our planet, it is now calculated to pass by at a safe distance of just 19,000 miles.
That's closer than some satellites currently in orbit.
And the close call will give NASA another chance to collect samples and data on the asteroid with their OSIRIS-APEX mission. The flyby will hopefully kick up more dust for Tsai and his colleagues in their search for the mysterious force.
We are more and more have a better and better precision on tracking all these asteroids. But still, there's always surprise. And if there is extra force or extra dark matter distribution, it can have a subtle effect on some of these asteroids.
While the slight variations caused by dark matter may not have astronomical effects on near-Earth objects, any slight variation in calculating an orbit can mean the difference between a near miss and a direct hit.
Those are very important for our future survival. If we know some place is going to be hit by asteroid, we need to evacuate, or we need to deflect the asteroid. There are many things we can do, but we need to know beforehand.
Tsai hopes that this data will not only further enhance Lannel's research into dark matter and a potential new physical element, he hopes this research will make the planet safer in our celestial neighborhood.
Tsai says that while there is evidence of dark matter within the universe, proof of its existence within our solar system is yet to be found. Well, after the break, we are learning more about how telemedicine is providing a vital path for families to receive quality perinatal care in the maternity deserts of the state. New Mexico Frontiers will be right back. Quality perinatal care is priceless for expecting families, and while patients in Albuquerque, Santa Fe, and Las Cruces may have access to the service, it's a different story for families living in rural parts of our state. One healthcare company is looking to bridge that gap with technology we are all now familiar with after the pandemic.
Leslie Romero is the proud mom of 5 kids, and to say it's full house would be an understatement.
My oldest is 19, and then I have a 15-year-old, a 14-year-old, and then my little one, he's 5.
Then there's little Livy,
She's so loved.
Leslie's 1-year-old daughter.
She's doing amazing. She's still in all of her therapy. She's thriving. She's doing really well.
Early on in her pregnancy, Leslie received some concerning news.
We did some genetic testing, and the genetic testing came back at high risk for trisomy 21, which is Down syndrome.
According to an article from UNM Health Sciences, 1 in 3 counties in the state are considered OB or maternity deserts. The vast expanse between urban areas, a shortage of healthcare workers, and the grueling work of a medical professional have all contributed to the situation.
The biggest buzzword in pregnancy is maternity care deserts, and that surrounds access to care, timeliness of care, and then is the available complexity of care that person needs physically readily available for the patient.
It's a problem Perinatal Associates of New Mexico is taking head-on through technology that patients around the world are now familiar with, telemedicine.
Perinatal Associates has grown really significantly to try to reach patients in rural locations. Our goal has always been to keep both mom and baby in a safe place. If we can keep them in their local communities, that is goal number 1.
Founded in 1987, Perinatal Associates of New Mexico has grown over the years from locations in Albuquerque, Rio Rancho, and Santa Fe to additional offices in Farmington and Las Cruces. But their reach was able to grow exponentially when their outreach centers opened in Espanola, Los Alamos, Ruidoso, Socorro, and in Leslie's hometown of Roswell.
I was able to see Dr. Ruma and his staff in Albuquerque a couple of times, and that was at the beginning till we established the plan of care and what was going on. And things took off as the pregnancy progressed. So there was more ultrasounds, more frequency of the visits, and those we completely did remotely from Roswell.
Our practice incorporates visits where we talk to the pregnant patient. We provide genetic counseling services to those individuals. We're experts in managing diabetes during pregnancy. And then just recently have embarked on, in the last few years, a perinatal mental health program. So a really large practice utilizing the skills of a really significant team.
Dr. Ruma says prior to the pandemic, his company averaged around 700 telemedicine visits annually. As of last year, they saw nearly 17,000 through telemedicine, helping more expectant mommies like Leslie get the care they need much closer to home.
They feel like we're there with them. And I think that their perception is that they, despite being in that very small rural town, have a very comforting understanding that we are caring for them in an integrated system.
I wouldn't have had such a good pregnancy and delivery if it wasn't for perinatal being in place.
Chad Brummett, KRQE News 13. Dr. Ruma says that ongoing advocacy and support for telemedicine ultrasound is vital to their practice and their ability to reach patients like Leslie sooner and with greater care. Well, stay with us because after the break, we are headed to Santa Fe to meet an entrepreneur looking to revolutionize the sunscreen industry and reduce waste in our landfills. New Mexico Frontiers will be right back. According to the CDC, skin cancer is the most common form of cancer diagnosed in the United States. And New Mexico's high elevation can intensify the sun's effect on the body's largest organ. We spoke with a New Mexico startup company that is looking to keep people safe and our environment cleaner.
New Mexico's high desert is perfect for outdoor activities. An average of more than 300 days of sunshine attracts enthusiasts from across the country and across the globe. But that benefit comes with a cost. A 2011 study by the CDC and the New Mexico Department of Health found that approximately 50 New Mexicans die each year from melanoma, one of the most common forms of skin cancer.
And it is largely preventable. We have the technology to prevent it. It's sunscreen.
Alexandra Merlino is an outdoor enthusiast and serial entrepreneur, And like many folks in New Mexico, she has what she calls a love-hate relationship with the lotion.
People just don't like sunscreen, and either did I. So I would fight with the sun. I wore hats and long sleeves, would try and avoid going out in midday, just to not have to wear sunscreen.
But that outlook shifted after she was diagnosed with skin cancer herself in 2020.
That made me pause and realize if I want to prioritize being outside, which I do, I need to embrace sunscreen.
That led her and 3 of her colleagues to create Be Wild Outside, an environmentally friendly sunscreen that not only avoids harsh chemicals, it reduces the amount of plastic bottles in landfills by giving the consumer a reusable dispenser designed with the adventurer in mind.
And it dispenses pretty easily. It's like this, 2 of those, boom, boom, and you're on the go.
The sunscreen is mineral-based, using zinc and titanium oxide to reflect the sun's UV rays. As opposed to chemical-based sunscreens, Merlino says that Be Wild Outside is gentler on the skin and is safe for those with sensitivity to skin products.
It comes with a cartridge inside. This cartridge is made of aluminum. It is recyclable. You can return it to us. We will have it sterilized and put it back into our system, or you can drop it into your recycling bin. This cap, this your pump cap, it stays with your unit.
Their SPF 40 lotion has received FDA approval, and the reusable dispensers are currently in development. And the company hopes to get their sunscreen on the market by August. But as Merlino says, it's not just about putting it on once and forgetting about it.
You have to reapply your sunscreen, right? I learned the hard way. I don't want other people to learn the hard way.
She recommends reapplying sunscreen about every 2 hours, as sweat, water, and the sun itself all work to degrade protection. Be Wild Outside hopes that their product will not only protect the skin of their clients, they hope that their reusable and recyclable products also protects the environment, reducing the amount of plastic in landfills across the state, across the country, and someday across the globe.
Be Wild Outside is currently looking for more investors and will be launching a crowdfunding campaign within the coming months. Well, that's going to do it for this edition of New Mexico Frontiers. For more information and for other episodes, just head over to krqe.com. Thanks for joining us.